I bought the mountain house to be alone. After everything that happened in the city, my divorce, my job going remote, my friends scattering like autumn leaves, it made sense to disappear for a while. The place was miles away from civilization, perched above a forest valley, where silence held dominion and time lost its rhythm. It was exactly what I needed. The house itself was a relic, a 2-story log cabin built by someone long dead, creaky but warm with a massive stone fireplace. I filled my days with small chores, chopping firewood, tending to the solar panels, and hunting when I could. It wasn't a bad life. Solitary, yes, but peaceful. Until one night in October. I was sitting by the fire, sipping a mug of weak coffee, when something triggered the perimeter alert. The motion sensor I'd set up pinged twice. Nothing had ever done that before. I grabbed my rifle and stepped outside. There she was. She stood barefoot in the snow, a woman. At least that's what she looked like. Pale skin that shimmered slightly, almost iridescent. Long dark hair tangled with twigs. Her eyes were wrong, not human. They glowed faintly like soft amber backlit by fire. She was wearing a tattered white jumpsuit, stained with something dark. Her hands were trembling. "I don't mean harm," she said in a voice as clear as spring water. "Please. I need shelter." My instinct screamed to slam the door. But something about her, the exhaustion in her eyes, the way she clutched her ribs, made me hesitate. "Are you from around here?" "Yes." A ghost of a smile touched her lips. "Not even close." I let her in. She collapsed by the fire like she hadn't felt warmth in years. I fetched a blanket and a first aid kit. Up close, the blood on her suit looked almost black, not red. I didn't ask questions. I didn't want answers I couldn't process. Over the next few hours I watched her heal, literally. The cuts on her skin closed up with no stitches. She barely spoke, but every now and then she looked at me like she was analyzing, calculating. When she finally spoke again, it was with gravity. "My name is Virel. I am not from this world. I crashed near your mountains. I won't hurt you, but I need to recover before I move on." That should have terrified me. But it didn't. Maybe I was lonely. Maybe I'd just been alone too long. Or maybe there was something more. Something under her skin that whispered trust, even when I knew better. "You can stay," I said. "For now." The days passed slowly. Virel spent most of her time resting. Her injuries were worse than she'd admitted. I noticed she avoided sunlight, choosing to stay in the shadowy corners of the house. At night, she would sit outside, eyes to the sky, as if waiting for something to return. Sometimes I caught her watching me, studying me. Her gaze wasn't predatory exactly, but hungry in a different way. Like I was a puzzle she was trying to solve. Talk more. I learned fragments of her story. Her ship had been damaged in orbit. She was part of an exploratory mission, though she never said from where. She mentioned her physiology was not entirely biological. I noticed her skin absorbed light like a black hole, and her pupils shifted shapes based on her emotions. One night by the fire, I asked what she meant when she said she wouldn't hurt me. "There are appetites," she said slowly. "My kind, we consume energy to survive. Not just food but life force. Emotion. Sometimes blood." I stiffened. "So you're a vampire?" Her lips twitched in a smile. "That word is crude. But yes, it is not so different." I felt a chill crawl down my back. "But you haven't fed on me." "I have not needed to. This planet has power in its wild places. And your kindness, it resonates. Is that why you keep looking at me like that?" "Yes." Her smile vanished. "I am trying to understand you. Humans, you give without knowing. You helped me for nothing. Not nothing, I replied. I was lonely. She looked at me for a long time. Then she said, That is the most honest thing I have heard in years. On the 12th night, everything changed. A strange vibration rolled through the ground, rattling the windows. Lights flashed in the sky, red and violet streaks twisting through the clouds like burning vines. Varel stood outside, rigid, her body glowing faintly. They found me, she said, voice tight. Who? The ones who shot me down. Suddenly the mountain felt much smaller. She turned to me. They will not stop. They will destroy everything to get what they want. You need to leave. I'm not leaving you. You don't understand, she said, her voice rising. I carry something inside me, information, technology, essence. They want it. They'll burn this place to the ground if they think I'm still alive. I grabbed my coat. Then we make a stand. She looked at me like I was a fool. You don't even know what you're fighting. Maybe not, I said, loading my rifle. But I know I'm not letting you die. For the first time she touched my hand. It was cold. Unnaturally so, but something passed between us. Pulse. A whisper of thought. In that moment, I understood more than words could say. I saw fragments of her life, her world, her mission. Felt her fear. And her gratitude. The battle lasted under 10 minutes. A ship, sleek and silent, descended into the valley. Drones emerged, spider-like things that crawled through the forest, scanning, hunting. Varel stepped forward like a shadow given form, and her body pulsed with energy. She moved faster than anything I'd seen, slicing through the drones with blades of dark light. I helped where I could, but it was her fight. I was barely a distraction. Then, in a final act of defiance, she unleashed something from within her, a wave of energy that rippled through the air like heat. The ship buckled mid-air, its lights shorted, and it crashed into the mountainside, vanishing in a roar of smoke. When the dust settled, she collapsed. I ran to her side, catching her before she hit the ground. You didn't have to do that, I whispered. Yes, she said weakly. I did. She stayed one more night. We didn't talk much. Just sat by the fire again like we had on that first night, both of us staring into the flames. You risked your life for me, she said softly. You deserved a chance. She looked at me with something like wonder. You don't understand what you've done. Shrug. Probably not. She stood, moved closer, and placed her hand over my chest. I want to give you something. A gift. Before I could ask, there was a flash, a burning silken light that spread from her hand into me. Gasp. It wasn't pain, it was awareness. My senses exploded. I saw every detail of the cabin, the mountain, the stars outside. I could hear the blood in her veins, the hum of the earth's magnetic field. She was giving me a part of her. When I leave, she said, you'll be changed. Not immortal but awakened. You'll see things differently. You'll understand. I tried to speak, but no words came. She leaned in and kissed my forehead. Thank you, she whispered, for showing me what humanity can be. That was the last I saw of her. When I woke the next morning, she was gone. No sign of struggle. No trail in the snow. Only silence and sunrise. Weeks passed. I stayed in the cabin. But everything had changed. My dreams were different now, filled with stars and strange symbols. I could sense things I shouldn't. Feel the moods of animals, the breath of the forest, the heartbeat of the earth.